He is post-graduated as Power Electronics Engineer from Anna University, Chennai. Currently designated as a Senior Application Engineer at VI Solution, Bangalore, and handling the major responsibility of supporting various industries in implementing several turnkey systems and system integration projects using NI products. He is also handling a major responsibility of improving the quality of engineering and science education, the improvised methods of the education and including the interest of LabVIEW. Nagarjan as a certified LabVIEW developer, and he had traveled far and wide throughout the India and had delivered through provoking lectures which inspire the students and kindle their interest towards LabVIEW. He also visited more than 150 engineering institutions, conducted many hands-on training to engineering faculties and students of various branches on LabVIEW basics and data acquisition. He also had conducted many faculty development workshops on various trending technologies, including industrial Internet of Things, embedded and control design, image processing, biomedical instrumentation. He has delivered more than 85 lectures on experiential engineering education on wire technology. His key interest areas are measurement and automation, biomedical instrumentation, sensors, data acquisition and signal conducting, FPGA based embedded system design, and power electronics. Now, I would like to call Mr. Nagarjan ji to kindly start their lecture.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. Very good morning to everyone. I hope everyone are doing good during this pandemic situation. So, first of all, I would like to welcome you all for this faculty development program, and I'd like to thank Mr. Ashwikram sir for coordinating this. So, let me share my screen. If my screen is visible, you can just drop your comment in the chat box. So, and if you have any queries, please let me know, or you can just unmute and talk to me, or else you can just drop the questions in the chat box. So, I'm ready to answer. So, we'll start the session for the day, and let me share the screen. Yeah, I hope everyone can see my screen now. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the reply. Let me open my presentation. Yes. So once again, I welcome you all for this FTP program, which is titled on modern simulation techniques for engineering research. So today, the entire session will be handled by myself. So myself is Nagarajan, I'm senior application engineer. So working in BI solutions. So as this topic, which is titled on modern simulation techniques for engineering research program. So today for the entire session, so we'll be looking into a simulation tool which will be used in various industrial application, not only industrial application, which is used in various academic research areas also. Okay, so where we can use this tool to simulate a system, okay, to simulate a system or to simulate a product, right, or whatever the research we are doing. As people are from electronics, whatever the branch it may be, like electrical, electronics, biomedical, even civil, or whatever it may be, right? So under each and every branches, we have different domains. Okay, the branches have been subdivided into different domains. For example, as I'm an electronics engineer, so I've done my undergraduation in a bachelor degree in electronics and communication engineering. We look into the electronics and communication, right? We have different subcategories like communication. We have signal processing. We have image processing. We have embedded system and wireless technologies, right? So there are different areas where we have lot of tools are available in order to do research works on order to develop a system, right? When you look into the electrical branches, right? So they have different subdivisions like power. Okay, they have power electronics, they have control systems, and they have machines, electrical machines, right? And then they have electric magnetic theory. So like this, there are different subcategories are there each and every branches. So whenever you want to do any research, or whenever you want to do any project, or when you want to develop any applications, right, on different domains, so we need to choose a tool. We need to choose a tool. So whenever you want to do a real-time project, so we need to go for a hardware with a combination of software. Like whenever you want to do anything on simulation, okay. So when academic comes to picture, so many people are doing a lot of research works on real-time. So like with simulation, and then they'll go for hardware-based systems, and some people will be depends upon the area of interest and the research, right? So some research works can be completely done with the help of simulation. Okay, for example, image processing, or if you want to do something with signal processing and all, right? So if you have a signal or if you have an image with you, so you can just you can use some simulation tool to do your academic research works, right? So for those type of purposes, okay, so you can use a different simulation tools which is available in the industry and the market. So in that, so today, for the today's session, right, so I'm going to just show, or I'm going to share my knowledge on a tool called LabVIEW. So which, how we can use this tool called LabVIEW in different research works or in different areas. Okay, so the title is completely based, it's on modern simulation technique for research work. So today we'll be learning about a tool called LabVIEW and how this tool is used as a simulation tool for the research work. Okay, so that's what today the complete session is going to be. And today you'll be learning about the tool called LabVIEW, and I'll be just showing some videos where how this tool is used in industry as well as in academics to do a lot of research works. Okay, so that's why I've just titled my presentation as LabVIEW, a graphical system design, because LabVIEW is a graphical programming language, so which we use in industry to develop real-time applications, both in terms of software as well as hardware. Okay, fine. So the tool which you're going to look is LabVIEW. So it's a completely a graphical programming tool, right? So now, so we'll enter into the topics. So as I'm working in VI Solutions, so we are the test and automation industry. So we are the technical partners of National Instrument. I hope most of the people have come across a company called National Instrument, which is a multinational company who are providing a lot of solutions for the engineering problems in various industries. Okay, fine. So a little bit as an introduction, so I'll be using the presentation. So once I have explained once I gave the overview of the tool, and directly I'll be moving into the tool called LabVIEW, and then I'm going to show everything as a hands-on demo. And as you people have just come across the schedule for this FTP program, the tomorrow schedule and the day after tomorrow schedule also. So I think tomorrow you will be learning about a simulation tool called Multisim, how you can use the Multisim for interactive analysis, right? So using, I hope you people know Multisim is used for circuit designing and circuit debugging, fine. So in that portion also, there will be a part where you will be using LabVIEW tool for core simulation. I think that will be explained by my another colleague in the tomorrow session. And if you look into the day after tomorrow session, it's completely on robotic based. In that third day session also, all the robotics concepts, the simulation of robotics concepts will be explained through this LabVIEW tool. So that's why for the today's session, you are going to completely learn about the LabVIEW environment. Okay, fine. So as NI is a multinational company, we are the technical partners and academic partners of NI, right? So we actually provide solutions for system engineering, and we are providing solutions and product for different applications, okay, like embedded, ATE, which is called automated test equipment, and data acquisition. And we are working on a lot of electronics manufacturing and military product support, and for wireless industry communication also. Fine. So, and I just told that we are providing solutions for engineering problems. Okay, so you can think what are the engineering problems in which industry where NI is providing support to the engineering problems, right? So the answer for this is these are the different domains where NI is providing support, okay, for the engineering problem, both in software platform as well as hardware platform. So NI has actually the NI is developing a lot of softwares to solve the problems in industry. At the same time, they are giving support with hardware also. Okay, so we have different hardwares which we use in industry for real-time building real-time application system, or for data acquisition system. I hope you people have come across a word called data acquisition whenever you try to acquire any data from the sensors. Okay, fine. So a data acquisition system, right? And when industry, so this is completely based on industry. So we provide support for semiconductor industry. So semiconductor industry, you can ask like what kind of support you're doing. So for semiconductor industry, so we can do automatic test equipment system where you can test your device or circuit or a board. Okay, so and then we can make the complete system to be automated, fine. And when you look into the automotive industry, for automotive industry, I think the best thing now which is coming across globally is on electrical vehicle. Okay, so for electrical vehicle, battery management system, and for hardware in loop and all, NI is giving support. Fine. And when aerospace and defense comes into picture, so where NI is mainly used for the communication service. Okay, and then there are a lot of protocols has been implemented in avionics and aerospace industries. So where which is used for testing as well as the application. For electrical vehicle, for designing converters and testing the converters and inverters, fine. And when you want to develop any closed loop system, okay, when we talk about a thing called control systems, right? So we have open loop system and then we have closed loop system. Civil and other things comes into picture for structural monitoring and all, and the heavy data acquisition system or conditional monitoring. Okay, whenever you want to monitor the health monitoring system of an equipment or machinery or things there are. And the wireless comes into picture. The best thing is with 5G. So a lot of research and a lot of support has been given by NI, because NI has separate platform or a toolkit or a domain where you can do a lot of communication based research works with the help of software and the hardware. Okay, so these are the industries where NI is providing support, okay, to solve their engineering problems. Okay, fine. And you can ask a question like how they are providing support. There is a small 40-second video which gives you an information about how NI is providing support in different industries, both in simulation as well as in hardware part also. Okay, you can just kindly watch this video and then we'll come back.
From solving grand challenges to finding practical solutions, AI has been helping engineers and scientists test, measure, and control the world around us for 40 years. During that time, our customers have used NI's integrated platform-based approach to build an endless list of innovative and awe-inspiring applications. But for the people who benefit from these efforts, it's something more personal. It's about reducing note spoilage in rural India, improving the lives of those battling cerebral palsy and helping stroke victims regain movement, programming the world's first semi-autonomous vehicle for blind drivers, using data to save lives at sea, unlocking the mysteries of our universe. It's about making an impact. The kind of impact that results in safer transportation, saves the lives of children battling heart failure, and creates new methods of wireless connectivity and communication. The kind of impact that leaves behind lasting solutions. Solutions for better environmental monitoring. Solutions for better disaster communication and relief.
Hello, sir.
Nagarjan ji,
Excuse me, sir.
screen is not visible.
Screen is not
Nagarjan ji,
visible.
your screen is not visible.
Yes, sir.
Your
Hello?
screen is not visible.
Just a minute, sir. I think my now it's visible.
Yes, yes, okay.
Yeah. So let me just play the video again. Sorry.
From solving grand test, measure, and control the world around us for 40 years. During that time, our customers used NI's integrated platform-based approach to build an endless list of innovative and awe-inspiring applications. But for the people who benefit from these efforts, it's something more personal. It's about reducing milk spoilage in rural India. Lives of those battling cerebral
Hello. Sir, voice breaking, sir.
autonomous vehicle for blind drivers
Since 5 minutes, it is voice
to
not
save
coming
lives.
properly.
It's about making.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So it's audible now.
Sir, voice breaking, sir.
Yeah.
It is not audible properly.
No, I think now I have clear. Now, sir, it's fine.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think kindly check. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a small introduction. Yeah, thank you. This is a small introduction about the tool. So I hope you can look after coming into the video. You can just get a information that how this tool is used in different industries. Okay, so for various application development. So if you look right, so NIS, as I said, right, we have different NIS providing support both in hardware platform as well as software platform. So mainly we will be using the software tool for simulation purpose. Okay, so when hardware comes into picture, it will become a real-time application, right? So now we'll be completely concentrating on the simulation tool. Okay, so these are, I think you can see there are some information which is provided in the slide. Okay, so LabVIEW is a tool which can be used for both simulation as well as to build real-time applications. And when you look, there is a software called NI TestStand. So TestStand is also a software which is developed by NI, which is mainly used for testing the applications. And you can see this portion. Okay, so the right-hand side portion, this one is a tool name called Multisim, which is completely used for circuit analysis and debugging. Okay, fine. So it is also a complete simulation tool which is mainly used for a circuit analysis. Okay, and we have another tool called Diadem, and which is mainly used for the data acquisition purpose. Okay, so we have another software called Veristand which is used for automotive industries. Fine. So there are different tools which are available for simulation, where software tools are available. So in this, the most important thing for application development, so we'll be looking into a software called LabVIEW. Okay, fine. So today, first session and the second session, we'll be discussing about the LabVIEW tool, about the LabVIEW environment, and what are the different functions available in LabVIEW to develop the applications. And in the third session, we'll be learning about how we can simulate in hardware. So NI has a capability, or NI has an advantage where you can just simulate your hardware and you can test your system here. Okay, fine. So this will be the this is the agenda for the today's session. So, and you can just ask the question, you keep on talking about called LabVIEW. Okay, so fine, like what is LabVIEW, how this LabVIEW differs from other simulation tool. I think when academic comes into picture, like most of the people are very familiar with the tool called MATLAB, where a lot of simulation works and researches are going on. Fine. So this LabVIEW tool is also a simulation tool where I think many people are working on that, doing research on LabVIEW also. But I think the most popular tool among the academics is MATLAB compared to LabVIEW. Fine. So today we'll be seeing about the tool LabVIEW. Like you can ask a question like, what is LabVIEW and how this tool differs from other programming tool. And the most important thing now are every people are focusing on Python. Okay, so which is a completely text-based programming language where some research on IoT and artificial intelligence are going on through Python also. Fine. And the first thing which I would like to tell, like how what is LabVIEW is, it's a completely a graphical programming tool which is mainly used to solve the engineering problems. Okay, and it is not a text-based programming language. So that is the first thing we need to know. It's completely a it's a simulation, it's a graphical programming tool. It's not a text-based programming tool here, okay? And the expansion for LabVIEW is laboratory virtual instrumentation engineering workbench. Fine. So you can see in the expansion of LabVIEW itself, right? Laboratory virtual instrumentation engineering workbench. Okay, fine. And it's a high-level programming language where you do configuration, you can do simulation. Okay, fine, and you can do the mathematical analysis and all using this LabVIEW tool. So why it has got a name called laboratory virtual instrumentation? The main thing is engineering workbench. Okay, so when you know how to work with NI hardware and NI software, okay, both hardware and software, so whatever the research you want to do, okay, so you can just make your workplace as an engineering workstation. Okay, a simple example is, I can just tell you, whenever you want to think that you have just simulated a circuit, okay, using multisim, you just simulated a circuit, or you think that you're going to build an rectifier, okay, a rectifier. So before developing a rectifier with the components, okay, so what we'll do, we'll just simulate this rectifier and we'll see whether it is giving a proper response for the given input, okay, whether we're getting the desired output for the given input. Once you have just tested using a tool called multisim, and then if you want to implement, okay, if you want to implement in a real time, obviously we need to move on to the laboratory, because where we'll have the breadboards and the components, okay, and the most important thing, so where all the instruments will be available in the laboratory itself. Simple example, the function generator, the oscilloscope, or if you want to work with a multimeter, right, or if you want to take an digital DSO, okay, fine, right? So all these instruments will be available in laboratory, so we'll be doing all the experiments in the lab. But when you know how to work with NI software, NI tools, and if you know how to work with the NI hardwares, so you can just make your place as a workstation. Okay, so you don't need to take your instruments like CRO or a function generator or multimeter, which is used to generate a waveform and to measure the information of waveform or to measure parameters, right? Because all those things will be inbuilt in NI hardwares. Okay, so where you can do all the things on your workplace itself. That's why it got a name called engineering workbench. And you can see virtual instrumentation. Okay, so virtual means what? Which is not physically present. Okay, fine. So you can virtually build any instrument which exactly available in real time, right? Using this LabVIEW simulation tool, you can just simulate the respective hardware, okay, using this LabVIEW tool. That's why it has got a name called virtual instrumentation engineering workbench. Okay, and when it comes to the software platform, it supports all Linux, Mac as well as Windows platform. And when hardware platform comes into picture, so we have FPGA based hardware, we have embedded based hardware. Okay, so where we can use these type of hardware to develop your real-time applications. Fine. So maybe after the first session break, I'll share the link of the LabVIEW software in the chat. If you people are interested to work on the tool, kindly install the tool and you can just take a hands-on later. Fine. As we have only less time here, I'll be showing the demo. You can just watch the demo and you can, if you want to take some points, you can just note it down. And if people are really interested, just install the software in your system and you can download and install it and kindly work on it so that you can just get a new knowledge about the tool, and you can just share this information with the students where they can develop, they can just kindle their interest to learn a different tool which is mainly used in industry actually. So this tool is completely for circuit branch people, okay, right? So the part where as per my experience, I'm sharing my experience, okay, fine. So when we try, as we are from electronics background, right, we'll be learning different subjects. Actually, if people are faculties, right, you'll be handling different subjects on each and every semester, like sequencing system, electrical machines or control systems, ESP, image processing, and all those things, where we'll be learning each and every concepts, okay. And when we come to the final year, or when research comes into picture, where to do a research work, right, we should be rely on a software or a hardware to develop the applications. Okay, while developing application comes into picture, whenever the text-based programming comes, okay, right, MATLAB you have both Simulink as well as the development of text-based system also, where the part where I struggle, okay, generally is the programming part, because we're not that much familiar with the text-based programming tool, because we are learning a lot of circuits, concepts, technology, okay. So the part where we lag is on the text-based programming, where we need to memorize a lot of syntax. So a lot of steps we need to follow to develop a code. But all these things will is break by this tool called LabVIEW, because it is completely a graphical-based programming tool where we no need to memorize any syntax or steps or any functions to develop the logics. Okay, fine. So that is the main advantage. So where we can use this tool for developing the real-time applications or for simulation purpose also. Okay, and you can ask the question. You're telling a lot of things about LabVIEW. LabVIEW, where do they use LabVIEW in real time? Okay, so it asks in on the aspect of industry. Okay, so this is the answer for the question. So these are the different companies who are using LabVIEW software for application development, testing, simulation. Okay, or for controlling, for automation purpose. Only few things are mentioned in this slide. So if you have a doubt, you can just Google it. NI-based companies in India or in the respective states, you'll get a lot of information. So where these are all actually most of the things mentioned in the slide are MNCs, where they have a separate team who works on different applications using LabVIEW tool. Okay, and this is also a few information. These are the different companies who are using LabVIEW software. Okay, for their application development purpose or for testing. Okay, and only few companies are mentioned here. There are n number of companies are available globally. Okay, around the world who are using this tool for different purposes here. Fine. So, and I think the most known thing to everyone is about SpaceX and about the person called Elon Musk, who is pulling a lot of things on as aerospace, and he's working on EV, and he's just working on different technology. One familiar thing which is known as, so they have a SpaceX where they have launched a rocket. Okay, fine, a spacecraft to the space. Fine. So in their project, okay, in their project also they have used the software for rocket launching right into the space. So they use different programming tool. LabVIEW is also one among the tool. To highlight that and to just share the information only, I'm just put those information into the slides here. Okay, so you can see here they work on actually a large scale web application to tiny embedded computing platform. So where they use different software like C#, C+, embedded Linux, Python, JavaScript. Okay, along with that they use LabVIEW also. So where by using all these tools together, see, which all together enable us to build, launch and monitor stuff that goes to the space actually. Fine. So in this, LabVIEW is also a tool which is used for their project. Okay, and here if you see, you can ask like for what purpose they have used LabVIEW. You can just look into the answer which is provided in the slide. So they have a separate team which is ground software team here. So they completely use a program LabVIEW tool, so which they used for GUI. Okay, so they develop the GUI. GUI is nothing but graphical user interface, which is used in mission and launch control for engineers and operators to monitor the vehicle telemetry system. And if they want to command the rockets, okay, spacecraft, and they want to command the batch support equipments and all, right? So they have used this LabVIEW tool. Okay, fine. So this is a small information where you can come to know LabVIEW is used in rocket sites also. Okay, so this tool is used in, that's what I said. So they're providing solutions for different engineering problems. The one among them is the avionics and aerospace industries also. Fine. So with this, so this is a small video which is a real-time application which is completely built on LabVIEW tool. This comprises both hardware as well as software platform. Okay, before playing the video, I'll tell you what is the video about. This video is about a pencil sorting. I have not played the video till now. Okay, so this video is about pencil sorting. Fine. So what exactly this project is about? They have an industry. So it's a pencil manufacturing industry who manufactures different color pencils. Okay. So in this, image processing comes into picture, right? So before it was completely done with the help of human efforts. Okay. Now they want to completely automate the pencil manufacturing industry. So this project is completely on. Okay, segregating the different color pencils. Okay, that is the first one. Okay, and then they're going to test the pencil also. When testing the pencil comes into picture, they just want to test the color. Okay, the outer core region of the pencil, if there is any crack or any damage, and then the inner lead. Okay, whether there is a crack or any damage in the lead, so then automatically that pencil will be failed. Okay, will be considered as a failed product. Okay, it's completely about a vision inspection system which comprises of both hardware as well as software platform. When our software comes into picture, they have used a tool called LabVIEW, and then we have a toolkit called Vision Development Module, which is mainly used for image processing applications. Whenever you have any images, whatever the image, it can be a biomedical based image, or if you have any a medical image, or if you have any a normal image also, if you want to extract any information or if you want to process the image, you have to install a toolkit called Vision Development Module. Okay, so where you can use this along with LabVIEW, you can use the toolkit to develop image processing based application. In the same case, if you want to do any signal processing based applications, you have to install the advanced signal processing toolkit and the digital filter design toolkits, where you get all the filters and the signal processing functions to work on time frequency analysis, or if you want to work on wavelet transform or time response, right? If you want to do any FFT, okay, or if you want to do any signal processing techniques, right, you can make use of the tool. So this video is completely about image processing. You can just look into the video. So that is a camera which is acquiring the image. You can just look how fast the camera is moving. So in that speed, the camera can acquire the image of the pencil. It can analyze and see here the trooper is segregating only the red color pencil. You can just look into the video. It's not segregating blue or green because that will be taken care of another trooper. You can just see, so this is a front panel where they're mentioning how many number of pencils are tested, how many number of pencils are passed, and then failed. Okay, fine. So that is a small information about a real-time application which is completely developed using NI tool. Okay, and you can see these are different programming languages which is existing, where most of the people who are doing research, they'll be using these tools. Okay, I think MATLAB, Python, Java, C, all those things, and all these things are a text-based programming language, right? And when we come into LabVIEW, okay, when we come into LabVIEW, so LabVIEW is completely what? A graphical-based programming tool. Fine. You can just look here. A simple example which will give you a basic difference between the LabVIEW program and the other programming tool. Okay, simple, which always whenever we try to teach or when we try to learn any programming language, right? So the first thing what we will do, we'll try to do some mathematical programming, right? So that's what here in the slide, if you see, we have an additional program where it is developed by using LabVIEW, Java, and then C programming. You can see to do an addition of two numbers, you need to use around 10 lines of code. When text-based programming comes into picture, the same thing which you want to develop in LabVIEW. Okay, you can see here. So this is the addition program which is completely developed using LabVIEW tool, and the other these two are text-based programming language where you need to memorize the syntax, you need to follow some set of rules, right? A simple example, whenever you want, if you miss a semicolon also, it is going to throw an error and you need to compile, debug, and then we need to rectify the error, and then only you can just see the output. Okay, those things are not required when you are going to work with LabVIEW tool, because it's a completely a graphical programming language. Fine. So this is how LabVIEW program differs from other text-based programming tool. So now we'll be entering into the LabVIEW programming. Okay. So initially, whenever you open any LabVIEW software, whenever you open a LabVIEW program, okay, new, okay, it's newly, whenever you're trying to open a LabVIEW program, so it has actually two screens. Okay, so one is called as front panel, and another one is called as block diagram. And you can see here, whenever we try to save any program, okay, so when you try to save any C program, it saves with .c, or if you're going to work with MATLAB, it saves with M file, .m, right, M file. The same way, whenever we try to save any LabVIEW program, okay, so it saves with extension of .vi. Vi corresponds to virtual instrument. Okay, so Vi corresponds to a virtual instrument. Fine. And if you look here, so whenever you try to open, and hereafter I'll be using a word called VI. VI corresponds to the program in LabVIEW. Okay, so whenever you try to open any VIs in LabVIEW, always you will get two screens. So this is an advantage. Okay, so the two screens are, okay, front panel and the block diagram. You can ask the question, what is the use of front panel, and another one is block diagram. So front panel is mainly used for user interface part, where the user can interact with the system. Okay, and the block diagram is the part where we have to develop the application. Okay, this is a place where we'll be developing the logics, or this is a place where we'll be implementing the logics to develop your system or to develop your project or application. Fine. So I repeat, so front panel is for user interface, and the block diagram is for programming, okay, developing the logics, because all the functions will be available in the block diagram part. So why I'm explaining all these concepts clear, I'll be explaining about all the concepts on LabVIEW, most or not all, because if I want to explain entire tool about LabVIEW, it takes around 5 to 6 days. So whichever is required for tomorrow's and the day after tomorrow's sessions, okay, so all those concepts will be demonstrated from my side. Okay, fine. So if any new functions are there, those people will take care and they'll explain about the new functions over there. Fine. So as I said, right, this is the coding style of an addition program, okay, in LabVIEW. So simple. To add two numbers, we need an input, and to add, we need an. I think someone is talking.
Admit card पे
Ma'am, please kindly mute your system.
कोई semester नहीं लिखा, ऊपर second year. हाँ fourth semester. बस ये वाले हो गए. अब उसके फोन नंबर लिख लो, विपिन मित्तल ने जो भेजा.
Ma'am, kindly can you mute your system, please? Yeah, thank you.
अभिषेक शर्मा का. अभिषेक शर्मा का है 4 times 9 017739.
I think Jyoti ma'am, Professor Jyoti. Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you. So we'll continue. Yeah. So we are at this part of explanation. Okay. So simple. To add two numbers, we have a function, we have an operator, we have two controls and one indicator to view the result. Okay. And the other reasons why they use LabVIEW is for they have vast software library, they have support third-party hardware. As I said, we have domain-based toolkit. Whenever you want to build with any biomedical-based applications, right? So you can just make use of biomedical toolkit to extract the information from the signals or from the images. Okay, fine. So why it has got a name called virtual instrument? Okay, so virtual instrument means what? A combination of software and hardware here. The software platform will be completely using LabVIEW software, and the hardware will be the NI hardware. Together we can build a virtual instrument. Okay, virtual instrument which is not physically present. Okay, but we can what exactly a real instrument does. The same thing will be taken care by this virtual instrument, right? So it's completely developed by using software and hardware. The software is NI software, and hardware which we will use is the NI hardware over there. A simple example, okay, is your oscilloscope and your digital multimeter. Okay, so I hope everyone have. Without this, I think all the laboratories will have these two instruments, okay, which is one, the multimeter is used to measure different parameters like voltage, currents, the continuity, the circuit continuity, resistance, and other parameters. And the main use of oscilloscope is used to display or view the information as a waveform, okay. So these two instruments can be completely develop, or we can simulate, okay, exactly what your oscilloscope will do, okay, when it gets signal. At the same time, the use of multimeters to measure the information, right, that these two instruments can be virtually built by using LabVIEW. So this is the virtual oscilloscope and the virtual digital multimeter, which is completely developed by using LabVIEW tool. Okay, see exactly what an oscilloscope does. It has two channels, it has different controls, knobs, it has switches, toggle switches, okay, and it has some controls over there to provide some to scale or to provide a time division for a signals, right? All those things is can be done with the help of this LabVIEW tool also. See exactly what your real-time oscilloscope does. The same thing can be done with the help of this oscilloscope. And if you see the right-hand side, we have digital multimeter. Okay, it's a virtual digital multimeter which is used to measure voltage, current, continuity, or resistance, capacitance. All those things can be measured by using this digital multimeter. Okay, it's a virtual digital multimeter. These two are completely developed by using LabVIEW tool. Fine. So this is a small example how we can develop virtual instrument. Okay, fine. So and then we'll get into the programming tool. So here we have two parts of the VI. One is, as I said, it's a front panel and the block diagram. This is how the front panel and the block diagram appears in LabVIEW. So let me open the programming tool, and then I can just show how the environment differs from other programming tool here. Okay, so before that, I'll tell you like what is the use of front panel. The main use of front panel is which is used for the user interface of your application. Okay, so this is a place where you can interact with your system or interact with your application. Fine. So the front panel is mainly used for user interface. I hope we have just seen about the SpaceX, right? So they have used this GUI LabVIEW for sending a command or for monitoring the spacecraft and the ground system from the ground system, right? So GUI is nothing but graphical user interface. So through this front panel only you can interact with your system or application. Fine. And the next one, so in front panel, so we'll be having controls and indicators. So we know when you look at any instrument, right, we have controls and we have indicators. So what is the use of control? Controls are used to provide input to your system, okay. And what is the use of indicator? To see the result or to view the output, okay. In the same way, in LabVIEW, inputs are called as controls and indicators are called as outputs are called as indicators. Sorry, okay. Inputs are called as controls and outputs are called as indicators. Okay, so these are the different controls and indicators which is available in LabVIEW. And then if you look into the block diagram, okay, the block diagram is a place where we will be developing the graphical source code. Okay, so we'll be developing all the logics, your requirements will be developed by using all the functions, right? All these functions will be available in your block diagram only. Fine. So as I said, we have two. One is front panel and another one is block diagram. Okay. So these with this we'll move into the tool, and then we can see how the programming tool differs from other programming language. Fine. So if you have any queries, please let me know, or else I can just proceed. Any doubts? Any queries? If there is no query,
Sir, is LabVIEW is open source or only licensed
sir,
version?
you can use you can use it for as an open source tool, sir. For example, if you download a tool, it will come for only 7 days. But if you use your you can, if you create an account in NI National Instrument website, like how we'll do for Gmail, right? We can get it for 1.5 months. So up to 45 days, you can just download all the toolkits you can work. After that, automatically it will get your evaluation version will get expired. So then we have to go for licensed version.
For a single user licensed version, what will be the
What's it?
cost? For single user licensed version, what will be the cost, sir?
I'm from a technical team. I'm not aware of the cost actually because I'm working on the tool only. So
Okay.
we have a separate sales team over there in our company. So anyway, I'll share my contact details once the session gets over. If you have any queries, you can just drop a mail to me. Let me check with the sales team and we'll get back to you. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, sir. Any queries? Any doubts or any queries? So if there is no query, you can just drop a comment.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, is there any open software equivalent to this LabVIEW?
Like equivalent to lab in the sense like we are working on completely NI tools here, so I'm not aware of the other tool which will be equivalent to LabVIEW because LabVIEW has both. You have an option to interact with the system using UI. This is the advantage of LabVIEW compared to other programming tools. So where you will not have the UI options in other programming tools. Here.
So now we
Okay.
can download that MV also in place of this one.
Yes,
NI.
yes. Yeah, I'll share the yeah. You can directly go to NI website and you can download the LabVIEW software. Or if you wish, in the break time, I'll share the link in the chat box. You can just click on the link. You can download the software and you can make use of it. Okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other queries? Yes.
Sir, hello.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So can we do power electronics lab in LabVIEW?
Yes, ma'am. You can do, ma'am. You can you can simulate even in terms of simulation as well as if you want to develop any real-time power electronic system for converters or inverters and all. In real time also you can build. If you want to simulate also, you can work with the LabVIEW tool. Ma'am. For example, if you want to develop a DC to DC converter or AC, if you want to make it a DC to AC inverter and all, you can develop them. So that you have to use a multi-sim software to develop the circuit. And if you want to check the entire response, or if you want to develop a closed loop system, right? So where you have to call the multi-sim circuit to LabVIEW environment, and you can simulate. So you can do both simulation as well as hardware implementation by using NI technology. It is possible, ma'am. 100%.
So multi sim simulation, is it an open source software?
Yes, ma'am. It is an open source only.
Okay, so the students will be able to download.
Yes, ma'am. There is a separate student version for available for multi-sim. Yeah, they can download and they can work.
Okay, okay. Sir.
So in the tomorrow session, you will be learning about multi-sim.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Any queries?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can we do wireless communication? Wireless communication.
Yes, sir. You can work on wireless communication also, sir. Yeah, it supports.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the difference between LabVIEW and Multisim?
Sir, LabVIEW is an application development tool, sir. Multisim is mainly used for circuit design. So when you work on analog, for example, if you work on analog electronics or digital electronics, right, where you will be developing different circuits, right, like amplifiers, oscillators, or rectifiers. And when digital comes into picture, right, we'll be working on different flip-flop, shift registers, and all those things, right? Counters and all. So all those circuit, analog as well as digital, for example, mux, multiplexer, DMux, and all those things can be done with the help of multi-sim tool. And LabVIEW is used for actually simulation. For example, if you develop a small rectifier, okay, so an AC to DC rectifier using a multi-sim tool, you want to just see the response of the circuit, right? You can just call that entire simulated circuit to the LabVIEW, and you can just give input in LabVIEW and you can check the response. Okay, you can do interactive analysis. So that's what we say. Interactive analysis can be done here.
So in Multisim, we cannot see the response.
You can see the response. Okay, you can see the response over there. You have all oscilloscope and all those things comes into picture. When you want to develop like closed loop systems, okay, when control system model comes into picture, if you want to develop a PID controller and all those things, right? So you can just bring those circuit to the LabVIEW, and then here you can just give a real-time information or input to a circuit, and you can check the response here. So in Multisim also you can do all those things. So we have a concept called core simulation in LabVIEW, where they will be explaining you how you can call the circuits over LabVIEW, and you can give the real-time inputs to your circuit, and then you can check the response.
Okay.
Okay. Any queries?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sir,
Yes.
by using multisim, we cannot use it for the simulation, sir. In
You can
multisim.
use no, you can use, sir. So you can use multisim for simulation purpose completely. So when you want to develop such kind of closed loop systems and other and all, you can just make use of LabVIEW also. It is like how we can plug two software together and we can work. In multisim also you can do a lot of analysis over there, and there are few advantages where you can just plug LabVIEW software and the multisim together to make a good and better systems. Okay. So this is also an option showing how the LabVIEW tool is used in.
Sir, which one is more user friendly
Okay, circuit simulation programs completely based on simulation, right?
between
Yes, sir?
between user friendly LabVIEW and multisim?
Yes, 100% user friendly as of our experience, because we work on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Your voice is breaking. So can you please repeat?
Now it is
your
fine,
answer?
sir.
Yeah, can you please repeat your
Sir,
answer? Yes.
yes, it is. Both the circuits are user friendly, sir. 100% LabVIEW is user friendly because you can just interact with the systems. Because when you look into other programming tool, like when a system runs, you cannot change the input or you cannot give any new response to your application. But when LabVIEW comes into picture, that is a place where we have the user interface during your application is running, where you can just give different inputs and you can just check the response of a system. Okay, a simple example, what we can say, I can tell you, this is you can consider a machine, ATM. Okay, ATM machine, so which is mainly which is used to withdraw and deposit the money and all. Okay, I can completely simulate an ATM machine using LabVIEW tool. I can just give different inputs to my system and I can make my system to check all the response also. Okay, so that's what I say. You can I just shown an example on oscilloscope, right? What exactly your oscilloscope does, the complete thing you can just use the LabVIEW functions and you can develop in your system. Okay, and you can work on it, right? So the only advantage is what? It is user friendly, where we have an option to interact with the system through this front panel.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Any query?
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, actually, my query is it possible in LabVIEW the scaling of MOSFETs or any other device?
Like you want to, can you just tell me like scaling in the sense like what kind of?
Change the scale of MOSFETs for making amplifier.
Oh yes, ma'am. Ma'am, a scale of the MOSFET in the sense like what exactly the scale represents? Please, could you explain?
Means it's a value of W and L.
Yes, ma'am. You can change here,
Volt
ma'am.
and bit.
Yes, yes.
Sir.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
So finally, LabVIEW is the superset of this one multisim, no, sir. So whatever the things we can do with the multisim, all the things we can do with LabVIEW.
No, sir. Circuit simulation is completely done with the help of multisim, sir. To provide an input, okay, or to provide a signal to your multisim and all, to make interactive analysis, you can use LabVIEW tool. So the circuit design will be completely taken by multisim only. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I think once you start to work and if you show a demo, then you will come to understand actually. Fine. Okay. Any other queries?
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir,
Yes,
LabVIEW, is it open access tool or licensing?
Ma'am, we have a licensed version also. You can download and you can work on it. You can use it up to 45 days. Okay. After 45 days, automatically it will get expired. Then you have to go for licensed version. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So what is the cost of license version? Cost?
Sir, I'm completely belongs to technical. I'm not into sales actually. So I'll check with sales team and I'll get back to you. Sure. Okay. So
Okay,
I'm
sir.
completely related on application development. So I have to check with the sales team over there. So anyway, I'll share the contact details and email ID. If you want to know the cost or any other things, you can just put a mail. I'll check with the team and I'll get back to you. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank
because
you,
I'm
sir.
completely
Thank you, sir.
indulged on industry projects. Okay, so
Thank you so
with
much.
this, I'll continue. Yeah,
Send
thank
me
you,
your
sir.
mail
Thank you
ID,
so
sir.
much. Yeah, I'll share, sir,
Sir.
because the entire day I'll be handling the session. So I'll share my email ID and my contact number. You can just reach me if you want any support related to NI.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Is there any query or shall I continue?
Any queries from the participants?
Okay, if there is no query, let me continue the session. Now I'll be entering into the LabVIEW tool. Okay, so if you once you install the LabVIEW software, thank you, thanks for the response. And once you install the LabVIEW tool in your system, okay, and I'll tell you there are different versions of LabVIEW tool. If you people want to directly download, you can just go to National Instrument website and you can download it. The one thing which you have to follow is, for example, today I'll be teaching you about LabVIEW tool, okay, and then once you are want to do any project or any research work, right? It depends on image processing or signal processing or biomedical, whatever it may be, communication. So when you are trying to download the toolkits, that is very important. Whenever you're trying to download the toolkits, make sure the toolkit version and the LabVIEW version should be same. Okay. Simple example. The first thing is I'm using a LabVIEW software which is a 2018 version. The new version 2020 is also available. You can just download it in net, or else I'll share the link in the chat box maybe once we get a break. Okay, so and then the toolkits whichever I'm using, like image processing or biomedical communication, whatever it may be, all the add-on toolkits which we are using or in this should be in the same version. Okay, so if I'm using LabVIEW 2018 and then my the toolkits which is used for image processing, okay, or for the biomedical, all should be of same version. Okay, so that is the one thing which you have to follow in future if you're using LabVIEW tool for your research works. The first thing, once you install LabVIEW software, select search window and then type LabVIEW. See, I'm using NI LabVIEW. It's a 32-bit software and it is a 2018 version. So that's why I'm getting NI LabVIEW 2018 here. Just click on the link, okay, and then your LabVIEW will get initialized and then it will get opened up. Fine. So if you want to work on any domain based like wireless sensor network or image processing, whatever it may be, first thing you have to install LabVIEW toolkit, LabVIEW software, and then only you have to install all the add-on toolkits. Okay, see, this is how you will get the screen whenever you open LabVIEW software. And as you I have licensed version because we work on the projects. In case, I think in your institution, okay, in your institution or in your research laboratories, if they have LabVIEW licensed version, you can make use of it. If you're using the evaluation version, maybe today if you download and if you just log in and create an account in NI, you'll get up to 45 days, right? So you'll get a pop-up where you'll get an option called evaluate, purchase or cancel. You have to just right click on evaluate and select no, then you'll get the LabVIEW screen. Okay, I'll not get that screen here because it is licensed. Okay, and you can see here, so this is the first screen you'll get whenever you open the LabVIEW tool. Fine. So and you can see there are options called file, operate, tool. Okay, and in LabVIEW we have a lot of shortcuts available. Okay, so we have a lot of shortcuts available in LabVIEW. So you can see if you want to create a new VI, just select file and you can see there is an option called new VI, or else you can see there is a shortcut called Control N. Okay, when I just click on this option, so I'll get two screens here. You can see I'm getting two screens. One is called front panel. You can see untitled one. I have not just given name to my VI. That's why it is untitled one, and I have front panel, and then I have a block diagram here. Okay, so that's what I say. This is a front panel where you can just use for user interface part, and the block diagram is a place where we can develop the applications. Okay, simple example. You have seen a pencil sorting video where you have seen there are a lot of information about the pencil, pencil tested, pencil passed, pencil failed. Okay, all those information is available in the front panel only. So this is a place where we as a user interact with your program, and the block diagram is a place where the LabVIEW developers will be developing the application. I can just correlate the same example. This UI with your enter the username and the password, you'll have the key buttons. Okay, now it is coming in display, and the older machines are having the still they're using the keyboard key versions also. Fine. System. Okay, whatever option you're selecting over there, right? So that is an UI. So you can call it as GUI. It's a graphic user interface in LabVIEW. And whatever option we select, okay, based on given response. For example, if we just select balance inquiry, right? For the selected user option at the back end, there is a program which will run to check the balance of the respective account. Okay, so that's what. So the front panel is mainly used for the user interface part, and the block diagram is used for application development, where all the logics will be developed in the block diagram. And we have a shortcut. Okay, and if you want to expand this, this is how the front panel looks. And if you want to see, or if you want to look into the block diagram, if you want to switch from front panel to block diagram, right, go to the window, and then you can see there is an option called show block diagram. So the shortcut is Control E. Okay, when you select it, you'll get the both front panel and the block diagram should appear parallelly in my screen. Okay. So for that, go to Windows. There is an option called C, type left and right. The shortcut is called Control T. Okay, whenever I press Control T, we have numeric Boolean array map. I think did I get a message? Multi screens are opening. Please resolve. Okay, sorry. That's what I just maximized my screen. I think now you'll not get the problem. Okay, fine. And this is the front panel and the block diagram. And one more, in case my voice is not audible, right? Kindly unmute and you can talk, because I have to look onto the Google Meet screen then and then, so that I can see the issue. Because I'm completely using my LabVIEW screen now. I cannot see the Google Meet screen. In case if it is not audible, or if you have any query, kindly unmute and you can talk to me. And one good thing which I like very much in this session is if people are interacting. That is very good. So we are supporting, we have handling a lot of FTP sessions, which is sponsored by ACT, ATIL, okay, and other FTP programs also we are supporting. Most of the people will not come forward and they will not talk also. It's very good that you people are interacting at the starting session itself. So that is one good thing which is going very well here. Fine. So if you have any queries, unmute and you can talk to me. That's not a problem. I'm ready to answer if I'm not aware. Okay, if I'm not aware also, I'll get your details. I'll look into your query and then I'll reply back. Fine. So front panel, as I said, it is for user interface part. When you just right click here, you'll get a palette called Control Palette, where all the controls and indicator will be available in this palette. For example, if I just place my cursor on the numeric palette, right, I'll get the numeric controls and I'll get the numeric indicators here. Okay, so these are the different types of numeric controls and indicators available. And when you look, when I place my Boolean, the use of front panel. And if you look into the block diagram, when I just right click on the block diagram, you can see here I have another palette called function palette, where these palettes, okay, where these palettes, okay, will have the functions, okay, where will have the functions for the respective data type, okay. So when I just place my cursor here, numeric, okay, see, you can see I'll get all the numeric operators, okay. When I place my cursor on the Boolean palette, I'll get all the Boolean functions, okay, right. And if you see here, I have a palette called comparison, where I'll get all the comparison functions available. Fine. So, and I explained, right, so you can do a lot of domain-based applications here. You can just see in the block diagram, I have a palette called Vision and Motion, where we need to install a toolkit called Vision and Development module, where you can do all the image processing based applications like pattern matching, color classification, object identification, real-time object tracking, fine. And if you want to do any morphology techniques, right, so, and then instrument readers, right, all those things can be done with the help of this Vision and Motion palette only. And when you want to work with any signal processing analysis, okay, where you'll get all the options to generate signals, and you'll have all the different types of windows, okay, to smoothen your waveform, we'll be using some windowing techniques, right. All these windowing techniques are available here. And the transforms, okay, so whenever you want to do an FFT, or if you want to do any TCT, right, so all these Laplace transform, so all these functions are available here, right. See, you have wavelet analysis. If you want to do any time frequency analysis or time series analysis also, we have the functions, okay. And if you want to work with any protocol based systems, okay, if you want to work with TCP/IP protocol, okay, or if you are going to use some SMTP protocol, right, so all these different protocols, okay, the serial data communication, right, so all these will be available in the data communication palette, fine. And then I think I have not have the communication tools, right. And biomedical, when you want to work with any biomedical based applications, see, you can just use, if you are working with ECG, if you want to extract the feature of an ECG, we have functions available here. If you want to work with EMG, okay, or if you want to do anything with the BP, blood pressure signal information, we have the functions, okay. At the same time, if you want to do image processing based application also, it is possible, fine. So there are different types of toolkits are available. I think I don't have the communication toolkit in my system. So when we have that, you can just work on the communication based application also, fine. So mathematics, all the mathematics and functions will be available here, okay. The differential, if you want to do any if you want to do any linear algebra, okay, right, or linearization or probability and statistics, all these functions are also available. That's what I say. This tool has a lot of toolkits available, where you can just develop your applications, okay, using this tool, fine. So that's what LabVIEW is, an application software which is used for application development. So whatever I'm talking, it's completely on simulation. And if you want to work with the hardware part also, okay, if you want to do any real-time application using hardware, or if you want to build any real-time system also, that is also possible, fine. So I have few videos with me, which will give you the information about how they are developing real-time application, like how I shown a pencil sorting system, right? Like that, we have different, have small videos, hardware and software here. Okay, fine. So maybe in the meantime, I'll show videos during the session time itself. Fine. So now we'll start how to learn how to develop the program in LabVIEW, and then we'll look into those videos also. Fine. Okay. So the first thing, as I said, right, front panel and the block diagram for user interface and the programming part. So initially, I'll start off with a small demonstration about addition program. Okay, so why I'm doing this, because I want you to do number. I need two controls. I need one indicator here. Okay, and to take controls and indicator, you have to just right click on the front panel. You get the control palette. You can just go to numeric. Okay, and then see there is an option called numeric control. Okay, it's a control. Just click and then drag. You can just place anywhere in the front panel. And whenever you place any controls or indicator in the front panel, the same thing will appear in the block diagram also. Okay, when you download and install, if you place any controls and indicator, this is how it looks in your system. I just changed a few settings inside the LabVIEW function. That's why it looks like a rectangle box before. Okay, so see, I have just placed one numeric control. The same thing is placed here. To add two number, I need how many controls? Two controls. Okay, so either you can go for copy paste, control C, control V, or else right click, numeric palette, numeric control, and you can place it here. Okay, so we have two controls now. Okay, see, it looks like a rectangle box because inside I have just changed the option. For you people, this is how it looks. Okay, so if you want to make this to appear as a small rectangle box, right click on the controls and indicator in the block diagram. There is an option called view as icon. You have to remove this option. Okay, fine. And if you want to change the label, so let me just maximize the size now. Okay, and if you want to change the label, double click and you can type now. Okay, input 1, and this will be input 2. Okay, fine. So input 2, fine. So I have two controls to provide input to your application or to your program, and to see the result I need an indicator. Right click, numeric, and go to option called numeric indicator. Or if you want to see, there are different kinds of controls and indicator. Okay, just like pictorial representation, we have meter, gauge, tank, thermometer. All these comes under numeric family. Whichever you want, you can select. For example, if I select this meter, this is how my indicator looks. Okay, see, it looks like a pictorial representation, right? So it is an indicator, okay, but it looks like a meter. Just a small difference between these type of indicators and this one is simple example, like how your analog and digital clock. So when you look into the analog clock, you can just see the variation of needle from one point to another point. When you look into the digital clock, you can just see that present information only. Okay, you cannot see the variation. Fine. The same thing only here. Here. We have different types of controls and indicator. We have a normal indicator. An indicator in order to get the output. Okay, simple. In your, when we develop any circuits by using lot of components, to interconnect each every component, we will be using wires. Okay, the same way here also we'll be using wires to connect control and indicator and other functions in LabVIEW. Okay, so I'll use a magnifier. I can just zoom and I can show how I'm going to connect the wires. You can look here. See, place your cursor on the input nodes of the operator or the input nodes of the control. Okay, click, you can drag here, down, connect. Okay, and here, click, drag, connect. Okay, that's all done. And here, connect. Fine. So I have just connected my controls, I have connected my indicator by using wires. And one new thing here is each and every data type. Okay, when your programming language comes into picture, each and every programming tool supports different data types, right? So when you work with the common data types which we use in different programming languages are numeric data, Boolean data. Boolean is nothing but digital zeros and ones. Okay, and next one is what? String, characters, group of characters we call as actually string. And the fourth one is array, group of elements of same data type. And the fifth one is your cluster. Okay, so in the text-based programming, they'll be using a word called structure. In LabVIEW, we will be using a word called cluster. A cluster means group of elements of a different data type. Okay, fine. See, I have just placed my controls and indicator have connected, and you can ask the question, so how can I run the program? And I want to see the response of my system. Okay, And to see that, you can see both in the front panel and the block diagram. So look into the screen. I have an option. I have an arrow mark here, a white color arrow mark. When I place my cursor here, it's called run. Okay, so this is a arrow which we will use. Click to run your program. Okay, and you can see there is one more option here which is called run continuously. The difference between run and run continuously is whenever you just click on the run button, the program will execute for one time, and for the given input, it is going to give the output. But when you use run continuously, your program will be under execution state only. Okay, it will be keep on running continuously. And if you want to stop the program, you need to click on the same option. And if you look in the front panel also, you'll have the same two options. Okay, run continuously. This is for abort, and this is to pass your program. Okay, so now to run the program. Okay, to run the program, see I'm only 10, and if you want to enter here, double click and enter, or else you have an arrow mark here. Look at the arrow mark, fine. You can just increase or you can just decrease. Okay, so whatever you want, you can do. Or else place the cursor inside, scroll the mouse. Okay, you will get these values. Okay, so I have 10 and 10 and here you can see we know 10% is going to be 20, but your indicator can display value up to 10. You can ask the question, how can I change the scale here? Okay, because it is from 0 to 10, but we know the output will be 20. And if you want to run this program again and again, if you want this program to be in a running state itself, just click on the run continuous button. Once you click on the run continuous button, look, this is how the front panel looks. All the grid lines will get disappeared. And keep it in mind, whenever you see any LabVIEW program where this run button or run continuous is highlighted and the front panel and the grid lines are disappeared, which means the program is in running state. See, now I can give different input and you can see the response also using this indicator. You can see when I change any value, 20 plus 10 it's 30. See, the needle is pointing 30. When I just decrease, okay, you can see the result. Okay, fine. So, and here also, if you want to change the value, see, it's giving the exact result. Fine. So this is how you can run your program. Okay, using LabVIEW tool, and you can ask a question: how can I identify if there is error in the program? That is the most important thing which we have to know. And here, whenever there is an error in your program, and one advantage, when you go for text-based programming, you will be writing lines any syntax like semicolon, open bracket, close bracket, double quote, and all those things here. But here in LabVIEW, no syntax, nothing is required. It's purely a graphical based program. Tool, and during your program developing stage itself, you can easily identify the error. The next, the answer. You can ask a question how
Nagarjan ji, are you listening us?
Sorry, I think my connection has been lost. I think so.
Okay, sir. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So let me share the screen. Yeah, I got the screen now. I hope you people can see the screen. See, when there is no error, see this will display no VIs with the error, and there is no errors and warning here. You can close this window. Okay. And now to look into the data flow programming concept, I'll just explain through the slide. Okay. So I'll develop this logic also. See, this is what we call LabVIEW follows data flow programming concept. So what exactly data flow programming means? When the functions, whatever we use in the block diagram, whenever any function receives all the input, that function will execute first. Okay, simple example. You look into this example one. Okay, see add. I have a function called subtract. Okay, so when I run this code, there are two functions, add and subtract. Which function will execute first? Which asks in LabVIEW, whenever any function receives all the input, only that function will execute first. If you look here, addition is a function, okay, which receives both the input from a control. But you look the subtract function, one input it is getting from a constant, but another input depends upon the output of addition function. Only when the addition function completes its execution and it will give a result, and that will be given to subtract function, then this will get executed and you can see the result here. Okay, so this is what we say data flow programming. The flow of data is going to determine your order of execution. And if you want to see this data flow programming as a demo, okay, I'll show here itself. Okay, I'll make use of this program. I have two controls. Okay, let this indicator, I'll delete the wire, I'll keep it here. Randomly I'm going to pick some functions. Okay, this is to explain your data flow programming concept. Okay, don't get confused. I'm just randomly taking some functions in arithmetic. Okay, and this will be given here. Again, I'll take one addition function. Okay, let me take a constant. I'll give 10, and then I'll connect here. Okay, if you look in this program, I have multiple functions. Maybe I'll just arrange it properly so that I can just, if I zoom also, you people can see the screen completely. Okay, yes. Now I'll zoom and I'll show. See, this is a program which I have developed. Okay, simple, it is an arithmetic operation. This is to explain the concept of data flow programming. When I just click on the button, initially I know immediately I'll get the output. That's not a problem. But you want to know how the program execution will be. As I said, LabVIEW follows data flow programming, right? It's not like left to right or top to bottom here. The flow of data is going to determine the execution. Immediately when you click the button, out of all these functions, which function will receive all the input, that will execute first. Okay, if you look in this, right, the sub addition function here, which will receive an input from the constant, but this another input depends upon the output of division. If you look here, the division one input will be directly given from the control, but another input depends upon the output of increment. If you look in this entire program, addition is the only function which will get immediately the inputs from the control directly. So this function will execute first. Once it gets executed, then the multiplication function, then the increment, then this division, and finally the addition program, and then it will get the output. Okay, so this is what we call it as data flow programming, and you can ask the questions that how can I visualize it. So how guarantee you're telling this is how the program will execute. So for that, the answer is I'm going to use debugging tools in LabVIEW. See, there is a debugging tool called highlight execution. Okay, there is an option called highlight execution. This bulb is available in the block diagram. When I just click on this, right, automatically what LabVIEW will do, it will just slow down your program execution, and it will show, or it will highlight the flow of data from one point to another point. Now I'm going to run the program. You can see the highlight. See, this is how sorry, the data is flowing from one point to another point. Even if you want to check it, I'll pass now. Okay, I passed my program by using pass function. See, all these functions and the wires are appearing in dotted line, and only these wires are appearing in orange color, because these are the wires which the node which is getting the value directly from the controls. But if you see the other wires, all these values are depends upon the output of the other function. That's why it is appearing in dotted line. When I just continue my program execution, see, this is how the data will be flowing from one point to another point. Fine. So this is what we call as a data flow programming concept. I repeat, LabVIEW will not execute any program from top to bottom or left to right. Always it will execute. Okay, it will follow data flow programming concept. This is how the LabVIEW program completely differs from other text-based programming. Fine. So this is a small introduction about the LabVIEW environment. Okay, about how the program executes. Right. Along with this, LabVIEW supports different data type. Okay, LabVIEW supports different data type, and you can look here. All the wires, controls, indicators are appearing in orange color. And if you look, it is mentioning as DBL. DBL corresponds to double precision floating point number. Okay, and you can ask a question. So how can I use Boolean data type and the other data types here? Simple. I'll just arrange this. Okay, so that we'll get more space in the block diagram. And I can explain other concept also using the same screen. Yes, it is arranged now. So that I can show the difference between how the other data type appears. Okay, see, I have just developed a code before. It looks very big. Now it looks very, very small. Okay, fine. Now let me keep this aside. So you can ask, sir, I want to work with Boolean data, or I want to work with the string data type. Simple. Go to the front panel here. Let me expand this. I'll keep this numeric controls and indicator here. Right click. Okay, there is a palette called Boolean palette. There are different Boolean controls and indicator available. Take a push button and place it here. And if you want to take another button, and if you want to see the result, okay, you can see there's an option called round LED. Place the LED. So you can ask a question, I need to enlarge the size of the controls and indicator. Place a cursor, you'll get the dots. You can expand, okay, and to change the size of LED, you can just increase. Okay, you can see here, this is how we can just increase the size of controls and indicator. Now we'll move to the Boolean, and Boolean 1, Boolean 2. This is an indicator. Okay, I'll give a name as Boolean indicator. I'll go to the block diagram. It looks like rectangle box as I have changed the option internally. So, but in your systems, this is how your Boolean controls and indicator looks. Simple. You can see it has a control and indicator, and how it appears green in color, and they mentioned TF. TF corresponds to true and false. Okay, and this is how. Okay, in LabVIEW, each and every data type is represented or denoted with different colors. Okay, So when I connect this controls and indicator, the wire is also appearing in green color. Okay, so in LabVIEW, whenever you look any controls indicator which appears orange in color, it corresponds to numeric double precision floating point number. But when you look any controls indicators wires which appears in green color, it corresponds to Boolean data type. Okay, and you can ask, sir, what can we do with the Boolean? You can do all the Boolean operations here. See, and, or, not. If you want to do any logic gates, okay, simple. If you want to do any logic gates, I can just go with the AND gate. I can make use of it here. And if you want to check the response of an AND gate, I think 740, some I forgot the IC number. Okay, simple. To work with the AND gate, the AND gate needs two input. One input is from this Boolean control, and you need another input. Go to this Boolean palette. You can whichever you want, you can just take. Okay. If you want to use a slide switch, make use of slide switch to increase the size of the slide switch. Place a cursor here. Okay. You have a slide switch, and here and another input. Okay. If you want to change X, and this is going to be we'll check the response of AND gate. Okay, so run continuously to make a program to run. See, when both the inputs are low, output is low. When one input is high, output is high, right? And when both the inputs are high, your output is high. Okay, when one input is high, your output is low. So you can just check your response of AND gate in your LabVIEW program itself. Whenever you have an Boolean based logics or requirement, at the time we will be using these Boolean functions in our application development. Okay, and to stop the program, again click on the run continuous button. If you want to change the color of LED, if you want to change the color of LED, right click, go to the properties. So on state it appears green, off state it appears, okay, and in off state if you want to change it, red appear as red color, in on state it will appear as, okay. String indicator, fine. So controls and indicator here. So just to find the difference, string or else you can just have data in, okay, data out, okay, and I'll go to the block diagram. See your front pan, your controls and indicator is appearing in which color? Pink color. Okay, so when you see any controls, indicators or the wires, and now here, if I just type have a nice day, and if I run the program, the same data will be displayed here also. Okay, have a nice day. Fine. So this is how you can make use of string controls and indicator whenever you want to pass any command in your application. Okay, or to display any information as a group of character. And the last one, if you want to work with integer, so we can change the representation of detail to integer. For that also, if you look here, the block diagram, it appears orange in color. Always when you take a numeric controls or indicator, it will be represented as double flow. I corresponds to integer. Signed integer data corresponds to unsigned integer data. Okay, so unsigned integer of 8 bits, 16, 32, 64. Wait. Blue color symbol. If you want to increment the value, use an increment operator. And it see so control by itself will identify, okay, so they have used these much different data types, and when we go through the requirement, we can understand why they have used all these different data types developed applications. Fine. So this is how each every data type is represented in LabVIEW with different colors. Fine. So this is about the introduction to LabVIEW environment, about LabVIEW data types and how it differs from different colors, and about the LabVIEW program execution. Okay, right, and how it differs from other programming language. Right, all those introduction to the LabVIEW environment has been explained here. Okay, so if you have any queries, please let me know. This is the introduction about the LabVIEW tool. Later we'll be learning about the functions available in LabVIEW. Without that, you cannot develop any application. So those are mandatory. That's why today the first session and the second session is completely based on LabVIEW tool functions and the environment. Okay. So please let me know if you have any queries. Any doubts? Hello? I think everyone are available. If there is any query, please let me know. Any queries? I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If there is any query, please let me know, or else I can just continue.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so if there is no query, let me continue. So let me show a small video which is about how this NI is used in application development. Fine. So I'll just look into the video. Just give me a moment. I'll just look into the video and I'll show. Okay, so I'm going to just show a small video. It's about a ball bearing. So this is an FPGA based system. So before showing the video, I'll explain like what exactly this is about. And I have some other videos too. Okay, so this is an embedded based system. Okay, it's about ball bearing. I'll just play the video and then I'll just share the screen. Okay, so let me share the screen now. Yeah, you can see my screen. It's sharing. Okay, and this video is about a ball bearing. Okay, so why I'm just showing this video is it is having a different technologies which is completely available in the single application. One thing, it's about embedded FPGA based system. Okay, so how we can develop an real-time application by using NI technology, by using NI hardware and software. And the second one here, there is another technology which is used for motion control application. And third one, it is also having image processing based concept. Okay, this is about ball bearings, ball bearing sorting. So they have a small storage where they'll have different size of ball bearing. Okay, 3 different size of ball bearing will be there of 3 different dimension. Okay, so that will be they'll just drop the ball bearing from the container before it falls down to the ground surface. They have a setup, okay, which will automatically grab the image of the ball bearing. It will compare the size of the ball bearing, and then they have a primatics. Okay, they have a motion controller and they have a primatics. Based upon the ball size, right, it is going to give the command to the primatics, and based on that, it's going to give a movement so that exactly the ball bearing will fall on the primatics. And they have 3 different storages to store. For example, think that I have 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch of ball bearing, right? So one box is used to store 1 inch, another one is for 1.5, and another one is for 2 inch. Okay, but in the storage, they'll have the combination of 1, 1.5, and 2 inch. Based upon the size, before it falls to the ground on the primatics, this entire system will grab the image of the ball bearing. It will analyze, it will calculate the size. Based on the size, it is going to give a command to the primatics. It will make a movement so that the respective dimension balls will fall on the same storage. Okay, this is about the entire application. Kindly look into the video. Okay.
Now, one of the primary uses for PACs is in machine automation. And our newest platform, PAC platform, Compact Rio, is ideally suited for these type of applications. So Kyle and Jonathan are going to show us how we're using Compact Rio and our Compact Vision systems to do high-speed machine automation. Thanks, Tim. An important feature of NI programmable automation controllers, or PACs, is the ability to reconfigure and customize onboard FPGAs with LabVIEW FPGA. This feature is particularly important when automating high-speed machines that require fast and reliable control. In this demonstration, we've taken the Compact Vision system and Compact Rio and built a machine that can sort different size ball bearings on the fly. Now guys, when Kyle says on the fly, he means literally on the fly. The machine we have here is loaded with hundreds of different ball bearings that differ in size by just a 1/16 of an inch. Each ball bearing will travel down a ramp before it drops to the air. As it falls, the Compact Vision system, acquiring images at 100 images per second, will measure the size of each ball bearing to determine whether it is 1/2 inch, 9/16, or 5/8 of an inch in diameter. The Compact Vision system then communicates that result to Compact Rio, which is controlling a high-precision primatics rotary stage. As the bearing is still falling through the air, the rotary stage will quickly move to the exact position necessary to deflect the bearing into the correct bin. You want to see it work, Tim? I think I do. All right. Here we go. All right. I see the Compact Rio system, I see the Compact Vision system, but where are the motion controls? That's a great question, Tim. So we took LabVIEW FPGA and NI Soft Motion and reconfigured the FPGAs on both the Compact Vision System and Compact Rio so they both become motion controllers. So the FPGA on the Compact Vision System is controlling the motor that's dispensing these ball bearings down the ramp. And the FPGA on Compact Rio has been reconfigured to control this rotary stage that's powered by a brushless servo motor. With NI Soft Motion, we can turn any NI PAC into a motion controller. So really, Tim, we don't need specialized motion control hardware for this application. We just need NI PACs. Why don't we test our two motion controllers out a bit by speeding things up? You guys up for it? Nice. Now, how fast is your machine control going there? Well, as you can see on the screen, guys, we're sorting about 3 bearings a second, but I gotta be honest with you, Tim, this isn't the work of Kyle and I. This entire sorting machine was built by a team of engineering students from Texas A&M University. They learned the program with LabVIEW, time in LabVIEW FPGA, NI Soft Motion, and the NI Vision Development Module, and they completed this entire sorting machine in just 6 weeks. Actually, they're here with.
So this is a small information where NI is used to develop a real-time system. So you can see in that it comprises of different technologies where implemented on a single application. This is how actually a real-time application will be, which will have a different concepts to be implemented. See how fast the machine is working and it is giving response to the given input. Okay, so there are other different domains also there. So this video is about FPGA based system, embedded based systems, and image processing. So like this, you can develop different applications. Maybe the next thing I'll show a small biomedical based, like biosignal acquisition, right? So like this, you can develop different applications by using NI hardware platform as well as software platform. It depends upon the application or the research what we chose. Okay, if it can be completely done with simulation, you can make use of LabVIEW and the other add-on toolkits to complete the research work or the application. But when industry or when real-time application comes into picture, obviously we need to rely on a hardware. Okay, so then only you can just get the you can complete the entire application or a product. So for that, you can just make use of NI hardwares to develop the applications. Okay, fine. So this is a small information like how NI is used to develop and hardware and software to build a system. Okay, a complete system. Fine. So before we have seen a pencil sorting application. Now we have seen a ball bearing based application. So like this, we can see some robotics based application also. So that we'll see in the upcoming sessions. Okay. So is there any queries? Any queries now? Any queries?
Sir, how to write programming in LabVIEW?
Sir?
LabVIEW is only graphical user interface alone. Is there any coding part?
So that's what the coding part is completely done in the block diagram, sir. So this is a place where we'll be developing the code by using the functions here. See, I have numeric, I have Boolean. If I want to work with arrays, and the most thing it relies on this palette called structures. Okay, here you can see different type of loops and other operations are available. By using these functions only, you are going to develop the logics. Okay. So I've just shown the environment about the different data types. In the next session, we'll be learning about the looping concept, about the case structure and all. Because once you know how these functions works, right? Whenever you get a requirement, then you'll come to know which function I should use to develop the complete logic or to develop applications. Okay. So your entire application will be developed by using the functions available in this palettes. So comparison, timing palette, or you can ask a question. Yes, sir.
We have signals also, signals.
Yeah, yes. If you want to generate a signal also, see, we have an option called signal processing where we have different functions available to generate a waveform signal. And if you want to apply FFT and if you want to check the frequency content present in a signal, you have all these options here. Even I can show you like how to generate a signal also in LabVIEW. That is also I can explain here.
Shall we change the signal characteristics like
Yes, everything we can do, sir. During your execution state itself, we can change. It's possible.
Audio, video, real inputs shall we use them?
Yes. For example, if you want to do any video processing based application, so we have vision and motion, and you can see there is a palette here which I'm just showing in my screen. By using these functions, when you connect an USB camera in my laptop, I can just grab the image. I can just stream it in my application itself. So this is mainly used for real-time video processing, or if you want to acquire an audio, or if you want to process it. See, there is an option called graphics and sound. So we have sound here. So here we have different options, which is used to grab the audio information. So whatever I speak, if my system wants to grab and then it wants to deliver, I can make use of these functions here. You can do work on audio as well as video. This is for output, which is to give the information as a voice. Okay, I'll show a small demo in the next session. When I type a text in LabVIEW, that text will be converted into voice command, and it will tell you in terms of, for example,
So will LabVIEW supports for 4G, 5G, 6G wireless communication?
Up to 5, because 5G research is going on, sir. Communication now for 5G research and all, they're using different hardwares. So there is
modulation techniques and also.
Yes, sir. Modulation. You can do all the modulation, analog and digital modulation techniques in LabVIEW. For example, like ASK, PSK, QSK, it comes into digital communication, and for analog, AM, FM. And there are some other things which is called MIMO, OFDM. Yeah, those things also can be done by having both software toolkits and hardware, because MIMO and all, if you want to do, you need hardware. So there is a separate family of hardware called USRP, which is mainly used for communication purpose, like whenever you want to make cognitive radio or software defined radio.
Nagarjan,
Yes, sir.
5 to 10 minute break.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can take a break, sir. Sure. Yeah, I think by 12 o'clock, if you have a query, I'm ready to answer the query. Or
dear participants, we will take a 10-minute break, and after 10 minutes, please join again. Okay.
Okay. So now it is 11:55. So I need to join by 12:05, right?
So you may start from this slide after 10 minutes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll have a short break, and then we'll continue by after 10 minutes. Okay. If you have any queries, you can ask at the time. Thank you. We'll have a break and we'll come back.